So, the first question. You've just finished your first LP series. How do you feel?
Okay, no. At the time, I had some kind of mixed opinions that maybe I shouldn't have started with the game that probably personally means the most to me. Because, your first videos are usually pretty terrible, and mine were no exception. Everyone's first videos are bad.
Yes.
But I remember thinking that I was just going to do the Earthbound Let's Play, that would be the end of it, though, but people seemed to really like it, and people were like, hey, what are you doing next? And I decided to just kind of sit down one night and think of all the things I'd like to do, and that list carried me for a very long time.
Do you feel like there's a feeling of accomplishment that you still have today?
No. not about the first Let's Play. Okay, everyone's got to start somewhere, and I'm glad that I've been able to do this as long as I have and have a good time doing it and continuously do new things. I've been very happy about that much, but the first Let's Play, I don't know. I think just kind of, there is that saying that, the artist is always his own harshest critic, and while I don't consider what I do high art by any means, I certainly can be my own harshest critic, and those early videos, while they might hold some nice memories, they can be kind of cringy as well.
I mean, when are old videos never cringy?
Yeah.
Moving on to a different kind of question. When you started your channel, you kind of kept your face hidden from the public eye and even going so far as to wear a mask to a Speed Gamers event in the past. Mm-hmm. And nowadays you seem to have kind of averted this, appearing in panels or interviews, just kind of getting back out into the public. What sparked the change?
Initially it was less so. There are people that I remember saying, like, back when I wore a mask, that, like, oh, it's just, ego and trying to, like, be, like, this really, like, epic, like, mystery or something like that. It wasn't that at all. It was, I guess, just a general shyness. I was kind of afraid that if I put myself out there too much, like, I didn't know that as many people were going to watch my videos as they did. And when things got as big as they did, I got kind of nervous, though, because this is YouTube. You go and you see, like, anytime somebody appears on camera, you see tons of hate comments about people calling you ugly and stuff like that. I just didn't want any of that, and I figured that I appear physically so rarely, and it's so unnecessary for what I personally do, that I can just kind of wear a mask on the rare occasions that I have to be on camera for something. But with time, it got to be too much to do, where I couldn't exactly go unseen, like at a convention or at places I wanted to go to. There was the fact that I began getting recognized in public for my voice because it's very distinct. And with time, it just kind of got to be a thing that wasn't as viable, so I just kind of stopped trying, I guess. Okay. No, you're fine. So, this is, okay. Yes?
No, I just don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to figure this out.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, so I have a really weird story about working on this, though. It's something that's kind of emotional for me, is that, so I don't know how many people were really aware of this. I didn't see anybody point it out, but on April 2nd a few years ago, I started working on something really, really big. It would be the largest Let's Play in the history of the channel. I can say that, like, without any uncertainty. And on April 2nd each year, I would post, like, hey, that thing I posted about last year on April 2nd, I'm still working on it. Well, this year came and went without me making a post like that, and that's because, for reasons beyond my control, I decided to just kind of shelve that, and I had to leave behind a bunch of finished work. It was really painful to decide that, because I'd been planning this thing out and figuring out the logistics of how I was going to handle things, and really happy with a lot of it, but I just wasn't really able to do it. So I had thrown away 2 years of working on and off on something that I really wanted to do just because something about it wasn't working. I don't want to say, like, what it was, though, because it might still happen someday. It might come back. But around that time, I had an urge to replay a game that I hadn't played in a long time, one that's very near and dear to me, and I didn't fully remember anything about it. And I have to say that this game came back into my life at a really good time. It came back right as I had shelved work on this thing that I've been doing for years. And I ended up deciding that I wanted to Let's Play just because it came back into my life at such a good moment. And that is what the next project is. I put the energy that I was putting into that really huge thing into this now. And about a year later, it's ready to go. And it's a completely new idea that hasn't really been done on the channel before. It's something that's different to the levels of how Animal Crossing and Splatoon were when they came out, because it's a totally new structure. So, that was part of why I wanted to do it. Hell yeah.
Is that it? That was
Oh,
so
come on!
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, Emil. I think his next Let's Play is going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be amazing. Freaking amazing.
Baloo. Beluga.
Speaking of blue,
Duel. A blue capsule.
blue. I'm trying to learn to whistle. Here, I'll practice over here.
I want to redo my Let's Play of that game someday.
Yeah. What game?
Earthbound.
Oh, okay.
Just someday. I'm not sure when I'd ever get around to it, though. That is still something I want to do.
What's 3?
'Cause I could really do so much better. My early videos are terrible.
Everyone thinks their early videos are terrible.
What's going on, guys? This is Chuggaaconroy, and I'm actually I'm gonna do my first LP ever. This is of one of my favorite games, personally. This is Earthbound, probably a game all of you have heard of, but none of you have actually played. So I'm kind of hoping to get the word out about it a little bit more. Well, just sit back and enjoy. All right, let's do this.
I mean, in some cases, it's actually true.
Well, I'm the exception. I know my old videos are terrible.
No, my old Kirby stuff. You probably didn't do a video where you ordered a pizza and had to go get the delivery during that.
Did you not cut it?
No, because that was back before we edited.
I hear a door. I hear pizza. Okay, I'm gonna pause. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure.
How do I pause this thing? Not like that.
Why? Just leave it paused like this, you know, I'll give a monologue.
Oh god. Alright, fair enough.
Proton John is a jerk. Oh, this is gonna be cut off. So let's see what I can do. I can't really do much.
Did you miss me?
Yes, I wasn't being interesting at all.
I can tell. I walked in, I didn't see the soundbar moving.
I was actually gonna try to get someone on Skype and add them as a third party in the conversation and just be irate. But, I was not quick enough.
Too bad Slow Beef is too busy right now. Oh. Oh, fuck.
Oh, come on, the pizza can wait until after Kirby. But wait, what are the topics?
I gotta choke on the pizza now. Just pepperoni. With, like, hot sauce.
Boring pizza.
I'm a boring guy, what can I say?
At least you're in Canada, where we have all dressed. Don't they not have all dressed in the States?
Apparently they don't even have ketchup in certain places.
Are you serious?
Like ketchup chips. I was talking to someone in California.
Oh, ketchup chips.
Yeah, well, ketchup, I'm pretty sure they have that.
Yeah, but ketchup chips are like, chemical flavored chips.
Yeah. What else do we have?
And all dressed is like, MSG flavored chips.
We have like pineapple soda and stuff like that too.
Pineapple soda.
Well, we have that. We have that in Newfoundland, and we have it in Alberta.
Wait, what's it called?
Like, you know Crush, like the drink Crush, right?
Yeah.
There's like pineapple flavor.
Alright, tell you what, I'm just gonna eat some pizza.
Funny.
Yeah, no, who thought of that first? Oh, it's you.
Witty. You gonna attack every LP here?
Yes, I am, actually.
This was back like the first year of first couple months actually of Let's Playing.
Wow.
Oh, come on, don't do that to me now.
Is the pizza delivery guy in the recording?
No, because it was like way outside. But I was playing Netplay with someone, so. Oh, Kirby. That was Kirby Superstar. I was with Scarboy, I think, at the time. Man, that's going back a ways.
What were some of the difficulties that you did encounter with recording DS games?
So for a long time, there was no good way of doing it, really.
Right.
I can actually tell this story. This is a very painful experience that is very close to me, and it is very relevant to this.
Okay.
Before there was a good way of recording DS games, I'd gotten in contact with people that had technical know-how, and I was trying to develop essentially my own way of recording DS games because I was pretty sure that an official solution hadn't happened by this point. It's probably never going to happen. For whatever reason, Nintendo just was not interested in giving us a way to play these games on a TV or with video output, so I began working on my own method, which actually did see completion. Doing this cost me $2,000 of my own money because there was nobody mass producing the stuff at the time. Ugh. I got it working, was ready to do my first DS project, so I started working on my first DS Let's Play of Okamiden, and before I could get it out, that was when Loopy started selling these things for $100. Comes out of nowhere, and suddenly,
so
whoop,
cheaper.
you can buy them for $100, and people were swooping up DS capture units and putting out DS Let's Plays before me.
Oh,
it was such a painful experience, and there was no way to see it coming.
That is a gut punch.
Yep.
Oh my god.
But that was a big challenge with recording DS in the early days when there was no good way of doing it. I was that determined to do it, but I was just a few months too early.
For a new subscriber, learning a bunch of in-jokes, catchphrases, and background information on the LP or they follow...
Happier topic.
No, I couldn't really come up with a follow-up, so I'm just like, because it's either...
I wasn't criticizing. I'm happy to move on to happier topics.
Okay, well, there we go. So, especially for someone who's been LPing for a long time, you may have a lot of series already on your channel. Mm-hmm. Are there any LP series that you would recommend to a new subscriber in order to feel caught up?
Not really, because I feel like a lot of my in-jokes began in the early days, and I don't think those are videos that have aged very well, if I may be honest. And on top of that, they, again, things at the very beginning were different. So I don't really want to say, oh, go check out this Let's Play and watch this one first and all those things. Just, if there's something you like, something that you're enthusiastic about, something that you wanted to know more about, maybe you can, I'm sure that making that decision is, just whatever you're into.
Okay. And speaking of, catchphrases and jokes, you do have a couple that are still referenced or even used today. Mm-hmm. So we can go over at least a couple of these real quick and maybe explain their origins so people who may not understand them will feel a little bit up to speed.
Okay.
The first one, it is almost 10 o'clock at night, so I don't really want to yell. But do you know the one I'm talking about?
No!
There it is.
Yes. Okay. That was a bit of an accidental success, because the epic no is not my creation. It's from the old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It was a thing that was quoted a lot on the internet back in general at the time, and I guess I was just kind of the one that people liked saying it at the time.
Good old YouTube poops.
Yeah, it was there's an episode where Robotnik is gonna fly a plane that Scratch and Grounder have built for him, and Scratch and Grounder are super, super excited to fly the plane with him and everything and, be able to fly on a plane. And Robotnik is furious that they think that they're going to be on this plane with him. And he just looks furious at them. And Scratch is just like, we get to go too, right? And he's just like, no, into their face. And then just takes off without them.
Yeah.
It was something like that, and it sounds really funny, And I thought that quoting that when saying, like, no to people in RPGs to be really rude. Because there's times where people are like, hey, you know, you like me, you want me to come along with you on your journey, right? Just shouting no in their face. It was just, I thought it was a funny way to say something really rude, and I guess it just kind of caught on like that.
But thou must. The other one is a particular favorite of mine because I feel like it's defined some of your runaway guy legacy.
Uh-huh.
But doing Daisy on hard.
Oh my god, no. That was just me talking casually when we were selecting a character in Mario Party 6 on a stream.
And you've never lived it down.
I have never lived it, and I just kept saying more and more dumb stuff throughout the night in my naivety.
It was a pretty good stream video.
Yeah, John, I think John at one point said it was his favorite stream that he'd done. So I guess there's at least that. At least he enjoys it that much.
Speaking of things you cannot seem to live down, let's talk a little bit about Steve.
Oh boy!
So who is Steve?
Steve is that one red leaf Pikmin that is in every squadron that trips and falls and in general just makes mistakes whenever you issue very clear commands because Pikmin AI is stupid.
So why is this Steve so famous amongst your fans?
It's just that there was, well, I guess I don't want to spoil the video of when something happened, though, but there was a time where Steve really proved himself and just it was that he'd been messing up a lot, and I'd been pointing it out every time he did, and then there was a time where he incredibly proved himself in a tight spot. So that wound up happening. I tried not to over-rely on the joke. I tried to, like, let it die with Pikmin 1. Because that was the joke. That was the joke of that Let's Play, I think. That was what my intention was, and that's why I didn't acknowledge it in Pikmin 2, because I felt like the joke had kind of run its course, and I didn't want to over-rely on old jokes on your series. Because, again, I do try to make each series stand on its own and, you know, not be something you'd need to watch an earlier series to really enjoy. In Pikmin 3, I wouldn't say I brought the joke back, but I do talk for a little bit toward the beginning of the game about just what the experience was of having that whole thing take off like it did. And I do mention it, though, because the way the first level of Pikmin 3 is designed, it's just, they give you one extra red leaf Pikmin than what you need, and it just makes all the animations so awkward. So it was something that I couldn't have avoided. I think at that point, because it had been years since I had relied on that joke, that I could kind of bring it back for that one video and talk about it a little bit, but that was really all I was going to do.
So kind of to that point, how do you feel about, I guess, the legacy of Steve?
The legacy of Steve coming this fall on Fox. No. I thought it was a funny thing when it happened, and I was excited to post it when it did. It did grow kind of beyond my control, which, if people are having fun with it, that's great. I have nothing against that, but my biggest worry was just over-relying on the joke and making it, you know, more of a bad thing than a good thing whenever it happened to rear its head again. I try to only bring it up when I feel it's really applicable. Like, there's a moment in Pokemon Emerald where I mentioned it briefly, and I felt like it was applicable there. So I always try to not do that. I definitely do overuse jokes. I mean, I ran Doe I Missed into the ground, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but it's something that I do try to, at least try to not do too much.
I mean, for quotes, it's so hard not to do that, though.
Because, like, Doe I Missed is so usable. You can say it anytime you missed in an RPG or anytime something doesn't go your way. And
well, like, thinking about, especially N64 games, like, if anybody's a fan of Star Fox 64, I quote that thing to death.
The quotes are what made Star Fox 64 what it was.
Will you be redoing any of your LPs?
I am considering redoing one at this point in time. Don't want to comment on which, though, but it's something that I am looking into for one of my projects. If I were to, though, it would not be the main project. It would be a side project to something new, because I would want to at least give some new content.
Yeah, totally. Do you have any LPs that you thought about doing, but didn't make the cut?
Funny that you mentioned that, because one of my current projects, Luigi's Mansion, was one that I had considered doing in the past twice. decided against it both times, and the third time that I was considering it was when it finally got made. So that's kind of a really ironic one. Also, my other project, Pikmin 2, I'd been considering doing Pikmin for a year and a half, and didn't because of the time limit, and the days being 13 minutes long in the game. So every day would have to be divided up into 2 episodes that were like 7-8 minutes long each, 6, whatever. And I didn't want to do that. And then when the time limit was finally removed for all users in like August, September of last year, definitely that was a green light. Like, hey, this is finally my chance.
Wasn't it originally going to be on like Machinima or something?
I was originally going to host it on another video site, hadn't decided which, because I really wanted to do that game. But I ended up deciding against that because they removed the time limits, which was really good timing on my part, though, because I wasn't looking forward to having to just post a video like the Angry Video Game Nerd does, saying, like, hey, here's where the new video is, click to view.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Because I didn't want to have to upload 2 videos for it for a single day. I thought that just would have been bad, because I really wanted them to be divided up evenly. And then aside from that, I had 2 other projects that didn't make the cut. My second Let's Play was actually originally going to be Yoshi's Island, not Mother.
Huh.
I tried recording it for a little bit, though, but I was having problems, and I just didn't think it was that entertaining to watch, and I just didn't like how it was coming out, though, so I ended up not even announcing it. And then lastly, aside from the Mother series and the Okami series, I was considering doing another little-known series at one point, which also didn't make the cut, just because I didn't know how to organize it into an LP very well. And that game was Eternal Sonata. It would have been my first game that is not on any Nintendo console, but it ended up not making the cut.
Huh, that would have been interesting to see.
So, did you wind up using a 3DS capture unit, or did you use the Wii U Virtual Console?
Neither, actually. I used a DS capture. I used a DS capture unit, not a 3DS.
My goodness.
I did it this way because I wanted pixel-perfect graphics. I feel like the whole debate of do you want anti-aliasing from a 3DS or perfect aspect ratios and all that, it's largely subjective. No matter which one you choose, somebody will tell you that you're wrong.
Right.
But I wanted it for this game in particular, just because I felt like my Pokemon Black and White videos turned out a lot blurrier than I would have liked. So I kind of went pixel-perfect this time. And believe it or not, even though the Wii U version is an official release of the game and it is running in an official like Nintendo-developed emulator for the DS, there's no pixel-perfect mode available at all. You can play with smooth graphics, and there is a smoothing filter off option, but the pixels do not perfectly translate one-to-one, and it's really obvious in the menus where the text is all jagged and various boxes in the menus are different sizes.
Yeah, so I believe it's just due to the fact that it's not a good 1-to-1 ratio between the DS's aspect and the like a 1080p aspect, right?
I think the Wii U outputs DS at 1280 by 720, and it just doesn't, and it stretches. It doesn't actually run the game in a higher resolution.
Yeah.
Because it stretches to 1280 by 720, it's not a perfect... It's not a perfect one-to-one stretch of 256 by 192, which is the DS screen resolution.
Right, and so you're going to see some issues in terms of what that's going to look like when it actually translates, and especially when you try to move that over to eventually YouTube, it will show up in the text especially.
People are going to be watching on all sorts of things, and I just felt like for this specific game, especially with the menus looking the way they do, that I'd want it to look as good as it possibly could, and the Wii U version just was not that.